to get started with introducing myself. I'm Daniel, and I'm Assistant Director of Admissions here at Northwestern's Department of Physical Therapy. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about our program. I'm going to give you some information about the curriculum and what the classroom experience is like, clinicals, research, all of that kind of stuff. And then we'll get into what the application process is like. We'll talk about the timeline, all of the application materials and requirements, prerequisites, all of that. And then we actually do have a couple of our current students who are going into their second year who are going to join us in a little bit as well. So feel free throughout the presentation, jot down questions that you have. We always have a really fun Q&A at the end, where we all just kind of chat, discuss, come up with any questions or concerns that you have. And so I will minimize this first. So see, we've got Lindsay here. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Kathy. Is that the best way to pronounce it? Is it Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, hi. And we've got Brianna, and is it Mari?
Marissa.
Marissa. Hi,
Yeah.
Marissa.
Sorry, my name is like put together with my last name.
Okay, makes sense. Hi. And then we have a C. Who is C with us today?
I think that's me. I'm Charlene.
Oh, Charlene. Hi, Charlene.
Hello.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And if you have a question that you want answered immediately, feel free to ask me. It's pretty informal. This part is going to be about 25 minutes or so, just my presentation part, and then we'll get started with the Q&A. But I do like to mention, so my job, I really want to make the application process easy, or as easy as possible for everyone. So I'm kind of the person that answers questions about prerequisites or the timeline on things. When PTCast opens up, I'm going to be the person communicating with you to let you know that some of your materials aren't here with us yet. So I'm kind of your guy for that. So let's get started. So the School of Physical Therapy at Northwestern, we are located in downtown Chicago. And that surprises some people. A lot of people think that we're in Evanston, Illinois, which is about 20 minutes north of downtown Chicago. And the undergraduate campus is there in Evanston. However, a lot of the graduate programs like the medical school, physical therapy school, business school, law school, we're all downtown Chicago. And actually, if you look on this picture right here, we're located about right here is where we are. And so we're right smack dab in the middle. And of course, there's a lot to do. So we're in the third largest city in the United States. So amazing food from all over the world. The public transportation system is pretty efficient here. It's very beautiful, got Lake Michigan bordering downtown. So it's really cool. My favorite part about downtown is actually something that's very recent, and it's the Starbucks. So we now have the world's largest Starbucks that is catty corner to our department. It is 4 floors, and there's a bar on the top of the floor. On the top floor, I mean, it's a wild place. So it's very cool. That can be a spot that you enjoy for your study time. I always like to note as well that we are in one building. So we are in an 11-floor building downtown, and we occupy the 7th floor, 8th floor, and the 11th floor. So those 3 floors. The only class that you would take that is not in our building is anatomy lab, and that's a part of the medical school, which is just 2 blocks away from us. So that will give you an overview of just where we are located and how we're situated. I've got fun news. So some fun news is that we are now ranked, our ranking has bumped up 2 slots. So US News and World Report has now ranked our School of Physical Therapy the number 4 best school in the United States. And so you can best believe that you will receive a world-renowned education at Northwestern. Some of the greatest faculty members are here, a great curriculum too, which we'll get into. And we do have a 100% job placement rate as well. All right, so now I'm going to talk a little about our partnerships. So we have some phenomenal partners with the Children's Hospital of Chicago, which we all call just Lurie Children's Hospital. We also have Northwestern Medicine and Northwestern Memorial Hospital, and then Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. So being a partner means that we give and take, basically. So we take in terms of with our academic partnership. So the physical therapists that work at these facilities, they come to our department and help out during our skills labs. So they come into the skills labs and really give their expertise and knowledge during our hands-on skills labs. So that's pretty cool. And then as a clinical partner, we get to go to these facilities during our clinical experiences. And so Lurie Children's Hospital is an amazing facility. So a lot of the pediatric physical therapists from that location will help out during skills labs. And if our students want to go there for their clinical experiences, they're more than welcome to do that. Northwestern Memorial Hospital is a really cool place for acute care, like acute physical therapy. So we'll get a lot of the physical therapists from there who work in that specialty to come over and help out. And then Shirley Ryan Ability Lab is amazing. Is actually ranked the #1 best rehabilitation facility in the United States, and has been ranked #1 actually for the past 24 years in a row. And so we get a lot, they do a lot of neuro work there. So it's like the neuro place. And so that's only, all of these places are just a couple blocks away. Now I'm going to talk about our curriculum, and I'm going to talk about our curriculum in 3 different phases. We'll do the classroom experience, the clinical experience, and then the synthesis project, which is a research project that our students are required to do, which is built into the curriculum. All right, the structure, the curriculum structure, and the overview. It's a 3-year program. And all of your coursework is spread out throughout your first and your second year. And then your 3rd year is all clinical experience. Now, although the 3rd year is all clinical experience, you have your first clinical your first year. So you don't have to wait until your 3rd year to dive into your clinical experience. So that is the breakdown. Within the classroom, so every year we enroll about 95 students. And so that might sound pretty big. Some people think that that is a large number. However, we have over 30 full-time faculty members. So you definitely get your one-on-one time with faculty, specifically in the skills labs. So within the skills labs, the groups are broken down into, it's groups of about 8 to 10 students. And so we'll have 1 to 3 faculty members and clinicians in each skills lab, helping out those 8 to 10 students. And so we do have a team teaching approach as well. So what I mean by team teaching is that even during the lectures, whatever, like every lecture has a specific theme, a specific topic, and whatever topic that is, you'll have a clinician who specializes in that area to teach it. So that is our team teaching approach. With clinicals, there are 4 different clinical experiences. So your first clinical is your first year, that's 6 weeks. Your second clinical is your second year, 6 weeks. And then your 3rd and 4th clinical they take up your whole 3rd year. So they're 13 weeks each. Now we got some requirements. So if you look down here for the requirements for our clinicals, we got some requirements for those. 1 clinical has to be acute care. Another one has to be outpatient ortho. and then another one has to be neuro. And so I get a lot of people who want to, like, they come in with a certain interest already. So, like, for example, let's say if, who do we have here? Let's say if Jenna was like, hey, I really want to do pediatrics, how can I fit that in? So you'd be like, okay, Jenna, you'll do your pediatrics within the neuro component. Or if Marissa was like, okay, I really like geriatrics, so we'll have you do you could do yours in the outpatient ortho. So there's still a lot of ways that you can still satisfy these requirements, but you can do what you really want to do. Another requirement is that at least one of your clinicals has to be 50 miles away or more from Chicago. And physical therapy in New York is done differently than the way that it's done in Florida or California. And so that's why we have that requirement for you to get out, get away from Chicago and get a different experience. Some of our clinicals, we even have some international ones. So we have one in Belize, we have one in Chile that our students have done before. So, you can even go abroad for your clinicals if you'd like to. You can see right here, we have 400 to 500 active contracts. So basically, wherever you can think of, whichever state you want to go to, we have a partnership there with a lot of the facilities. So even if you wanted to, if you had a facility in mind that we don't have a partnership with, there have been students who have had success with creating a partnership and like you being able to have your clinical there. So there's a lot of really cool opportunities with the clinicals. All right, the third leg of the curriculum is the synthesis project, which is a research, the required research project. And so it is faculty led, meaning it is not student led. So you don't have to come up with your own research question or anything like that. The way that it's set up is that you will go to a research fair where all of our faculty members are there. You will get to walk around and learn about all of their research, and then you get to choose. You get to rank a list of, the list of research projects, and you get to prioritize which projects interest you and that you might want to work on. And they're in groups. You work on these in groups. And there's a range in scope. And what I mean by that is if you're super not into research at all and you're kind of scared or like research just isn't your thing, there are some projects that are not as involved. We got projects that are a little smaller. If you are like a big research person or like you really want to get into it, we've definitely got some huge projects. We have faculty members who have, won like $2 million worth of grant money to do their projects. And so you can get involved in those too. So this synthesis project, it spans your first year and your second year. And at the end of it, you do a poster presentation and you could even have your research, you can have it published or you can even present it at a conference. So some of our students have done that too. And I get a question a lot. Some people ask, okay, is this something that we have to find time for, like outside of our coursework and stuff? And it's not. So it's built into your curriculum. Like there's on Mondays, it's either every Monday or every other Monday, you have time, like that whole afternoon for your synthesis project. That's pretty cool. I want to talk a little about dual degree programs. So most people, like out of the 95 incoming students, usually we have 6 or 7 who are dual degree students. So most people go for the general DPT, but we do have these dual degrees if you're interested. So with COVID-19 happening, there being a public health crisis, there's a lot of people who this year who are interested in the DPT and Masters in Public Health dual degree. And then you've got folks who have an engineering background, or maybe you're interested in robotics and how robotics can help folks with physical therapy. Then you might be interested in the biomedical engineering PhD and BPT dual degree. So if you're interested in either one of these, let me know, and then I can connect you to the directors who coordinate these programs. Okay, next I'm going to talk about service opportunities. So one really popular service opportunity that we have is called the Great Lakes Adaptive Sports Association, or GLASA. And their mission is to let no one sit on the sideline. So this is all about inclusive recreation, for people who have visual and mobile disabilities. So this is a really popular way that our students like to get involved. Another way to get involved, if you like kids and or you interested in pediatrics, then you can do Go Baby Go. So that is for kids, and kids who have like visual disabilities or mobile disabilities, they want to enjoy recreation in the playground or in their backyard or at home, just like anybody else. So we have kids come in and we fit them. So we have these battery operated cars that are retrofitted to each kid. So that's always really fun and adorable. So we have this space in our facility, a whole room that has all these battery operated cars in it. So that's another way to get involved with volunteering. Another volunteer opportunity is community screening. So you will see purple shirts all over Chicago and the surrounding suburb areas, helping people move better. Skyride Chicago. So if you like to climb, then this is a way to get involved. So each year we have our Department of Physical Therapy students, some of them will get together and climb Willis Tower, which is the second or third tallest building in the United States. So they get together and climb the stairs in Willis Tower, and the money that is donated to this charity event, it goes to support the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab that we were talking to before. That's a fun way to get involved. Fitness screenings in Chicago Public Schools is another way to get out into the community. Love Your Melon, so you may have heard of it. It helps kids with cancer, and so we have a chapter on our campus, a club, and they get together and support that awesome mission. So now I'm talking a little about student life and show you that you can have fun outside of the classroom. I mean, you're in Chicago, so there's festivals galore. There's a festival for absolutely everything. There are amazing concerts. I moved to Chicago back in August from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I've been to 6 concerts since then, and that was all basically last year. So there's so much to do. But our students really like to go to the sporting events. So on the Evanston campus, you can really enjoy any of the sporting events. So this is a picture of some of our students there. For your professional side, you can definitely enjoy some of the conferences. So the American Physical Therapy Association will put on their annual conference. So our students go to that. St. Patrick's Day, green is the color of the river downtown on St. Patrick's Day. And so that's always fun every year. Marathons, I'm not a runner. I like to get all of my workouts done in 20 minutes. So marathons are not my thing, but you are more than welcome to join those. We have a lot of different marathons that go on in Chicago. So these are our students getting involved in those. Professional sports too. So this is a great city for professional sports. All right, so now we're gonna get down to business and talk about applying to physical therapy school. And first, I'm gonna start off with the timeline. So here's our application timeline. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to take a quick glance before I dive a little into it. So PTCAS is gonna open up next month, very soon, in a few weeks. So June 17th is when PTCAS opens up. And if you're not familiar with PTCAS, it's the Physical Therapy Centralized Application System. And that is, so 95% of PT schools are on PTCAS. That's where you submit your application. So it opens up June 17th, and you can start to apply July 1st. So there's 3 main deadlines that I wanted to point you to. So August 1st, October 1st, and December 1st. So August 1st is our early decision deadline. October 1st is the preferred application deadline, and then December 1st is the firm application deadline. So if you have been in contact with us before, Um, October 1st was always the firm application deadline, but so this is the first year that we've extended the deadline to December 1st. And your chances of being admitted are not minimized at all if you apply closer to the December 1st deadline. Some people have that concern. Early decision for us, we are doing early decision. So PTCAS, and we are aware that PTCAS is no longer administering the early decision process. However, so they are giving the power to each university in order, to make the decision if we want to still do early decision or not. We are still doing early decision. So it is a binding decision. So if you apply as an early decision applicant and you are admitted, then it is our expectation that you join us. We have you sign, basically sign this form. And so there's a couple benefits of applying early decision. You will know your decision by mid-September, which is amazing. That's very early, September 15th, basically. You'll know your decision, and you can then, if you're admitted, you can just focus on scholarships and all of that. Then after, if you're applying regular decision, then you'll know your decision in between September and December. So it's kind of a rolling admissions basis. Then commitment deadline, January 15th. So if you are admitted and you want to reserve your spot in the class, then you will submit your tuition deposit and your letter of intent by January 15th. So this is our overall timeline. All right, so now I'm gonna dive into all of our application materials. So these are all of our materials. The application is, so there will be multiple questions that you'll answer on PTCAS. And I want to note that all of these materials are submitted in PTCAS. Nothing is sent directly to Northwestern, which is great. We love that. We can just go to PTCAS and just see your entire application there. Our admissions committee can see everything there. So transcripts. You will upload all your transcripts to PTCAS. If you did anything that was transferred, or like even if you took AP credits, anything. Some people ask us if we will accept AP credits, and we definitely do. So yeah, if your credits were, as long as they were transferred and we can see them on your transcript, then we will accept those AP credits. So you'll submit all your transcripts there. And there is a process, and you can totally ask our current students about this too when they come on in a few minutes. It can be kind of tedious with the transcripts because you not only have to upload your transcript, your electronic transcripts, but you have to manually type in like your courses and like the course numbers and things like that. And if they don't match up, then PTCAS kind of extends the process a little bit. So like, just make sure to be detail oriented with the official transcripts and just making sure things match up. Letters of reference. So we require 3 letters of reference. One letter has to be from a licensed physical therapist that supervise you during your observation hours. Another letter has to be from a college professor. And then your 3rd letter can be from anybody else. So it could be another college professor, it could be another physical therapist, or it could be like if you have a job, it could be your supervisor, or if you volunteered somewhere, it could be your volunteer coordinator, anything like that. As long as it's not your cousin or your aunt or your mom, anything like that, then it'll be fine. I want to note with the letters of reference, make sure that your reference can agree to write you a satisfactory letter or a good letter. Just because we've read letters from a reference that say, hey, I do not recommend this student. I have reservations about how good this student could do in physical therapy school. So that was a shock to us. So I just want to, put that in your ear. Make sure when you ask your recommender, you say, hey, could you please write me a satisfactory letter? Give some examples of my leadership or work ethic or, responsibility, all of that. Okay, so GRE and TOEFL. So we do require the GRE, and right now I know that the GRE, they are offering the GRE online. So some people are concerned just with COVID-19 that they're not able to get to a GRE testing site and all of that, or they can't schedule one in person. We accept the GRE online. Um, and if you attend if your primary university teaches in a language other than English, then we do require the TOEFL scores if the primary language taught is not in English. There is no minimum GRE. I always like to let people know that there's not a minimum GRE score. Some people, even myself, like when I was doing my master's program, I was afraid, or when I was preparing for it, with GRE testing. And so, there is such a range of GRE scores for our incoming students. We do have our averages posted on our website though. So our average GRE scores are on our website. I think for the math section, it's like 70th percentile is the average. For the writing and the verbal, I think it's like 60th percentile or something like that. But again, it's a holistic review. So we look at not just GRE scores, but your GPA, all of that, your letters of reference, PT, observation hours, essays, all of that. So talking about PT observation hours, we typically require at least 100 observation hours. However, during the period impacted by COVID-19, we reduced that to 50 hours. If you feel like if you have a concern or if you are struggling with getting to that 50 hours, I want to let you know a couple things. So for one, they have added a question to PTCast, an essay question, which is actually this one optional one right here, that allows you to explain how COVID-19 has impacted your planning, like your academic planning, your professional planning, things like that. So that's one thing if you are struggling with the 50 hours of observation. Another thing, remember in your app, so in PTCast, when you are filling out your observation hours and where you've done them, you can list the observation hours that you completed, and then in another column, they have you put the ones that are planned. So if you have ones that are planned, but you haven't quite done yet, you can list those too, and our admissions committee will see that. So know that too. Yeah, and so I've had a few people who are concerned because they haven't done any of their observation hours, and so with that, they're concerned because not only have they not done observation hours, but you also have not. Now you don't have a letter of reference from a physical therapist, and so if that's the case, definitely make sure in your essay to explain why elaborate on how physical therapy is the right path for you, even if although you haven't done any observation hours. So you'll definitely want to elaborate on that piece. But people are being flexible. Admissions committees, that's why they've reduced it to 50 hours and allow you to kind of explain yourself. So keep that in mind. All right. Oh, and it does with the observation hours, it strengthens your application if you do observation hours in a variety of settings. Okay, so if you have the chance, do ortho, do geriatrics, do acute care, pediatrics, cardiovascular and pulmonary, inpatient, outpatient, skilled nursing. I mean, all of them you can you can really strengthen your application by doing a variety. All right, the essays, there are 4 essays. So there's 2 that we created at Northwestern, and then there are 2 that PTCast has. And then that one optional one, which is about COVID-19. And so you can find the prompts for our essays on our website. So on our website, there's a tab where you can, on our admissions website, you can see all of these different admissions requirements, and then there's a tab for essays, and then we have all 4 of the prompts there, so you can check them out. And I do want to mention, we don't do interviews. We don't conduct interviews. So the essay is the best way for us to get to know you. It's really so that we can know your story and just who you are outside, even outside of your grades and your accomplishments, things like that. So application fees. So yeah, there's two fees. One PTCAS fee, and then there's a supplemental fee for Northwestern. So there's a link in there that where you just pay that supplemental fee too. And some people have asked about waivers, like application fee waivers. So if PTCAS is going to waive your PTCAS fee, then just let me know, send me an email, and then we'll waive your Northwestern fee too. So the last slide before I open up for questions, our students are going to come around 7:40-ish Central Time, so in about 9 minutes. And I have one more slide. So then we'll open up for questions, any questions you might have for me, and then I'll turn it over to our students. And I'll still be here though. Okay, so here's our prerequisites. And I'm gonna give you like 10 seconds to take a glance at this before I give you some notes. Okay, that's the educator in me. I went to grad school for education. But so with these prereqs, you can see there's two categories. One, there are courses that are required, and then there are ones that are recommended. And I want to point out that the ones that are recommended are truly recommended. We do not require them, and it does not minimize your chance of being admitted if you have not taken the recommended courses. It's just that it does help. It makes your transition into DPT school a little easier if you've taken these recommended courses, because we have courses that, you know, not focus on them, but it utilizes the skills, some of the skills that you learn in these classes. For example, calculus, most of our courses are not calculus based. However, you know, kinesiology has a section in there where it's like calculus based. So it will help if you've taken a calculus course, but it's not required. So let's go with the requirement ones. Quickly gonna go down these anatomy and physics, and I'm gonna make some notes. I'm gonna let you know, because due to COVID-19, we've made a few changes. We've modified some of these. So anatomy and physiology, 8 semester hours is what we require. So a lot of people just do that general anatomy, you know, anatomy and physiology 1, anatomy and physiology 2, or some people have a whole class that's just anatomy and then a whole separate class that's just physiology, and then you have labs, whatever one works. Some people do like exercise physiology, you know, whatever kind, that's fine too. But the change due to COVID-19, we always required that anatomy lab was in person, we will not accept anatomy lab online. However, during the period impacted by COVID-19, we will accept anatomy lab online. We will accept anatomy lab online during the period impacted by COVID-19. So if you took anatomy lab last December online, you know, we wouldn't count that. But